So what I'm going to take you through today is something that I've done quite a few times with various coaching clients. And this is all in relation to the idea of closure. Now, when I'm talking about closure in this case, I'm talking about kind of the typical closure that we think about, where you are reaching out to your ex because you want to get some kind of words from them that you feel like you need in order to sort of close this chapter and move on. So that's what I mean by closure as I'm kind of taking you through this exercise. Now, most of this is going to be questions that I want you to ask yourself. And there's no right or wrong answers in this. So I just want you to kind of be open with it. I really recommend that you kind of have pen and paper down so you can kind of like jot things down. Just pause the video, jot it down, play again, kind of go through in that way. If you're honest with yourself, I think that this can be quite an empowering exercise and one that can just bring you some clarity in how to reach closure. And I really encourage you to do this exercise before you reach out. So this is kind of when you're in that, pre-space where you're wanting it, but you haven't done anything yet. But even if you have already reached out, this can still be worthwhile because I think it can kind of help to give you maybe a different perspective on things. Okay, so the very first question that I want you to ask yourself is when it comes to closure. So if you reach out to your ex, what is the best result you would hope for? So what is it that you want them to say or do as a result of you reaching out? What is the best thing that you could hope for? Now, this isn't like magical thinking as far as we erase the past and we go back to how things were before. This is coming from as things are today. What is the best result that could happen? Okay, now the second part piggybacks off that first question. If that thing happened, if you got that best result, how would that make you feel? Think about in your mind how you would feel. Think about in your body, how would you feel? Maybe it's even not feelings. Maybe there's something tangible in your external world that would change if you got that best result that you wanted when you reached out for closure. So I want you to ask yourself, if you got the best result, how would you feel? Okay, this next part is a little bit different. Now, instead of those feelings, I want you to try to step back a little bit. I want you to take a little bit more of like a third party kind of position. And what I want you to do is think about knowing everything that you know about your ex and about the situation. What are the chances that you get that best result? Yes, I want you to basically assign a probability to it. Maybe it's 80% chance. Maybe you recognize that this is a dream, that they're never going to do this, and you assign it a 0% chance. Whatever that number is, I want you to think about what is the actual probability that you're going to get that best result that you want if you reach out for closure. Now, if you're anything like me, that number is a little sobering. It's not what you want, right? You want to say, 100% chance I'm going to get the response that I want. And when you really think about it, yeah, probably not. You're probably going to get something quite a bit lower than that best result. So again, we're going to go back to the feelings. Here's the next question. You already said how that best result would make you feel. Now what I want you to think about is how else, apart from reaching out to your ex for closure, how else could you get that feeling? Because your answer to that question about how that would make you feel is really quite telling, because that's what you want. That's what you want to feel. So I'll give you an example from my own life to help show you kind of what this might look like. One of the reasons that I wanted to reach out for closure is I really wanted to feel less rejection pain. Kind of all of that feeling of being discarded, of not being worthy. And so I really worked hard to think about what are some other ways, other than reaching out to him, that I could reduce that pain and kind of build that self worth. And what I realized is that I needed ways to build my confidence. So, one of the things that I did, and this is just one of many examples, but one of the things that I did is I signed up for a half marathon. Now, at this point, I was a brand new runner, had never done any kind of race. So, this was a big, scary commitment that I made signing up for that race. And it was hard. The training, the race, all of it was so hard. But when I crossed that finish line, despite all of the bad things happening during the race, I felt like such an accomplished badass. It was like, I am a member of this group. I belong. I can do this. I am worthy. So for me, running that race and all of the training and all of that leading up to was a way that I could get to that feeling that I wanted, of that feeling less rejection, pain, and feeling worthy without reaching out for closure. Now I know that the first kind of knee-jerk reaction when you think about how else could I obtain that feeling that I want is that's impossible. But what I also want you to do now is go back and look at that probability that you assigned to getting that result by reaching out to your ex. Which one's more possible? You getting that result from them? Are you getting that result through whatever other ways that you can figure out that would give you that same feeling without meeting them at all?